Another amazing song, Chris. Thank you.
I've never heard that.
He pulls some stuff that I've never heard.
No,
Actually,
I've
I'm
never heard
thinking
that.
maybe we take a segment and we don't talk. It might
like Chris,
people
DJ.
People,
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
but DJ,
okay,
people
well.
might actually enjoy that, folks. What do you think? Shoot us a message on Facebook if you think that's a good idea. Welcome back to the Stockwell Roche Show. I'm Jason Stockwell with Remax Results.
Josh O'Shea, Remax Advantage Plus.
We have Jason Light with Envoy Mortgage, and we have Robin Hartle with Remax Results in studio with us. Robin Hartle with Robin Hartle Design and Style. I just remembered to mention that as well. So if you have any design interior design work or stuff that you need, she will happily help with that. We've been talking about dual agency, pocket listings, and hopefully being informative on those things for you and your loved ones on that. Last topic and last thing that I think is people love this word, contract. We all love contract,
The
right?
big C. The other big C.
So
It is.
yeah, it's scary sometimes, and you're working with an agent. So, what is Robin and Josh, maybe you guys can share, what's the scenario? Let's say you meet a buyer or a seller. What's the protocol? And then once you enter into a contract, what's going on with it?
Agency disclosure. First thing that when we go out and we meet with
Whoa,
somebody.
whoa. Do I have to sign something?
You do. You do have
A contract?
It's not a contract.
Are you sure? Because I
It's not
don't
a
trust you,
contract.
Josh.
You don't. Well,
You're a realtor. You're a realtor. I don't trust
well,
you.
you know
You
what?
have pocket
What's that
listings
piece of
and
paper
you
you
have.
just threw in
I'm
front of
just
me?
kidding.
it's true though. I mean,
Yeah.
we get that, and we get that a lot,
All the
right?
time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the first one, when we go, before we go out and show you a house, by law, by Minnesota law,
This is, folks,
It's a Minnesota
this
law.
is law. This is not something that we are trying
We're
to do
not
as
trying to
agents
force
just to get you
anything
to
on
sign
you.
something.
It's by
This is
Minnesota law.
Minnesota statute.
we're supposed to give you a agency disclosure on what agency is. Whether
Yep.
we're a buyer agent representing you, or you're the listing, or you're a seller, we're representing you, a facilitator. We
Dual
have to,
agency,
dual
what it is.
agency.
Yep.
We have to provide this form showing that, hey, we did show this form by law. We showed you what the different agencies are. And that's not a contract. That's just us getting a disclosure out in front of you so you can actually take a
It's
look
one
at
of
it
the
and
most
understand some stuff. that's going on with real
Uncomfortable
estate.
things to start out with, isn't it,
It
Josh?
is,
I mean,
yeah.
you go and meet someone for the first time. You're building rapport. You're talking. Hey, I want to sell, and then you pull this form out and says, "Hey, Minnesota law requires that I
Right.
present this to you," and you sign it, stating what agency is. Now, the purpose behind this is actually very good. Just like a lot of laws and the legislature, the purpose behind it is to protect and inform consumers. That are not real estate agents.
Right.
So in practice, I don't know the statistics of how many agents don't do it. Technically, that's breaking the rules because you may have given them private information without knowing what you're doing as a consumer. So I always give it, if someone absolutely refuses to sign the agency, then we give them a copy and at least have a note stating that we gave them a copy.
Right.
But anyway, so that's agency. And here's the deal, folks. You can go out and meet with 100 realtors in one day and sign 100 of these agency disclosures, and they obligate you to nothing.
Nothing.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
So anyway, there we go.
So I think that's really good information out there because
Yeah.
we come across that on a daily basis where that's a headache. It's almost, I know I've got some agents on my team like, I don't want to, no, just, you have to do that. You have
At
to
least
provide
present
that.
it.
Right.
Jason, they're turning this to the lending world at Envoy Mortgage. Someone calls in, hey, I want to refinance, or hey, I'm looking to buy a home.
It's the same thing. We have
Do you
to.
have a disclosure or something like that?
We have a bunch of disclosures.
Oh, really?
Especially with trade.
We have one as realtors.
Right.
How many do you guys have more? No.
Well, when they
If it's
collect
a
enough-
government loan, it's 100. But anyway, it's the same thing, and they have to sign and date everything. But ironically enough, there's no contract with us all the way to the end. So it's just disclosure,
The whole way through.
and I don't even know what a contract is. So
Yeah,
I know that's
good.
what you're going to be discussing here shortly. But
Yeah, the actual contracts, but but they are signing disclosures with you. And then
no obligation.
obligation.
locking a rate kind of is. But that's where the trust really comes along the way for
Right.
the consumer, for the lender, right? You're doing the disclosures, you're working on their loan, and then you do a rate lock, lining everything up, and you're kind of getting to the finish line, if you will, at that point.
Sure. Well, it ultimately it forces accountability. You just have to ensure that you separate yourself, provide them a service that just goes above and beyond. And I mean, you don't have to worry about it. But yeah, at any point, someone signs something, they lock a rate. A lot of times they think, am I committed to you? well, we have to. It has to be clear. No, 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 all the way to the end. So
Right.
Not committed, but it's probably in their best interest because as realtors, if it's
We have a closing
purchase-
date coming up.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
We are going to be really
Well, in their
messing
interest too,
things up.
because they
Yeah.
could lose the house, lose their earnest money if they don't close on time. They have to
Yeah,
pay
there's
per
a
diem.
lot of
There's a
reasons.
lot of things.
Right.
And
And if you start with another lender, like right in the middle of things,
Ugh.
they got to start over.
How many times does that happen though?
You're starting
How
from
many
scratch.
times does that happen when you've had a buyer working with a mortgage guy and they say, we're just not clicking. I'm gonna go
I've
with another-"
had it. I've had
It's
it
happened to
happen
me
many
several
times.
Not a ton, but but it has happened. But it does definitely cause a rift in the transaction.
Yeah.
So you
That's why
gotta
we like to have our clients use the lenders that we're familiar with.
use good people
Right,
that are
good
comfortable
people.
Sure.
that are
Like
I would say
Jason.
Envoy Mortgage would be one of the
Right.
top ones.
Yep.
Now to the contracts, what's a good so after you when you work with a buyer and you do the agency form, Robin and Josh and myself, then you go into the buyer's representation or the listing contract. What should we tell consumers about that, or what would folks want to know about that, in your opinion?
Well, it's basically what I tell my buyers because I represent mostly buyers, and I give them that buyer representation contract. There was a time in real estate where we didn't have a buyer representation contract, and it was just the sellers being represented.
Yes,
And
buyers didn't even have their
non-buyers
own
didn't have
representation. Believe it or not,
representation.
folks.
Right.
Now you do. So
Right.
yeah.
And so it's a good thing
It is a good thing.
now that they have representation and that we are going through this contract saying, this is what I'm going to do for you. And these are all of the things.
If anybody, you will summarize it, and I'll probably have Casey put this on the Facebook page, Stockwell Roche Show, and on tcrealestatehour.com. Fiduciary duties are on there: loyalty, obedience, disclosure, confidentiality, reasonable care, and accounting. Similar to a lawyer-client relationship, there's obligations and things that we as agents keep private for you on your behalf to negotiate and to help you the best to our ability get the home. Right?
That's true. Very true. You don't know how many times I'm out there and, there's buyers out there looking at some of our listings and they don't even really know that they signed something like that because they're asking me to help them. And as an
Happens
agent,
so much.
as an agent, I got to back off because you do have
You have a
representation.
contract,
Right.
yeah.
You have a contract.
That happens more often than
And that's just agents not doing their job and
Right.
explaining things on, hey, this is the contract that you are signing.
Yes.
You do have representation. If you're out at open house, you got to let the other agent know that you do have representation.
Yes.
Yep. Some tips for you consumers out there. If you're working with an agent and you have a contract to represent you as a buyer or a seller, make sure, one, that you know if you do or not, because
Right.
a lot of times you'd be surprised how many people don't
They
know
don't
they even have a
I
contract.
have no idea.
Number two, inform other agents that you have an agent, because it can actually be to your detriment if you call. I've had a quick story.
Time out.
I have buyers. They're under contract. They go to an open house. I tell them, make sure you tell the agents that you have a buyer's agent and you're under representation. They go to the open house. One of them starts talking with the agent and tells them that this is their dream home. They must have it. Guess what? They called me and said, I want to write an offer. I wrote an offer. Or that we want to write an offer. We wrote an offer. I said, maybe we should try to negotiate. They said, sure. I went to the agent. I sent an offer. We tried to negotiate. The agent called me back and said, Jason, your buyers came through. We're coming back at full price. We're not budging one penny.
Because they gave out
because
too
we
much
know
information.
this is their dream home. They told us they will pay whatever for it.
Right.
Done. So they paid more than they should have, right? So
That hurts us as
That
a
hurts us.
negotiation. That does
So-
not let us represent you in the way that we want to represent you.
Right.
yeah, so have open dialogue with your agent. Talk to us. We'd love
Right.
to help you. We're always open to help people. 651-400-0773. TC Real Estate Hour. Brand new website, tcrealestatehour.com. Go to the Stockwell Roche Show on Facebook.
Not MySpace.
1 year anniversary. Woohoo! Everybody high five,
year.
Robin.
Happy anniversary.
High five, Josh.
Happy
All right,
anniversary.
yes.
Jason Light Envoy Mortgage, Nux.
Next.
We'll be back
Oh,
next
yeah.
week. I'm Jason Stockwell with Remax Results.
Josh Roche, Remax Advantage Plus.
Remember, love yourself and love others. Have a great week.